Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now this time it is going to be Martian Manhunter, the gold label version from McFarlane. Now people might ask why they released the classic version after they already had released this modern version. And that would be because this is an old business maneuver used by companies because they know that the first figure might not sell as good, but the one that everybody wants will sell. And this was proven because this guy did sell out on pre-orders at Target, but I did find mine along with the Ocean Master that I found yesterday at Target. Now tons of people are really happy that we finally have a classic Martian Manhunter, but he does have a couple of little problems. Now I will show you guys how to fix those, but I don't want to make the video too long, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now he does look pretty classic in the packaging, and let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Not really needed, but sometimes useful. He also comes with his data file card. On the front, you have some off-center figure photography. And on the back, you do have some information. Pretty sweet. We'll add it to the collection. Now, it does not come with any traditional accessories, except for all the scope work and added features to his costume. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. First impressions, this is the classic version of Manhunter everybody has been waiting for. Cool design. Now they added the red X straps across the front. He does have the medallions to hold his cape on. He has the popped up collar, and he has the blue boots with the cape. So all in all, everything you would expect from a traditional Martian Manhunter. He looks really good. Now he does look a little bit squat, and we'll get into that a little bit later. He just looks really compressed, which was an issue everybody had with the original modern release, but I also did some custom work on that one, so I'll show you that one as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. Now, pretty good Martian Manhunter head sculpt, kind of a mixture of alien form and human form, but he still has that humanoid look. So this is your standard John Jones Martian Manhunter. Really cool head sculpt. Love the brow. Love the paint that they added to shadow the face. Pretty nice. Now articulation, he does look down really well, but looking up is a big problem. I cannot really look up at all. Now another problem is the collar here. It's really in the way because his head sits so low that when you turn his head, it hits the collar. He still does have right to left, and you could tilt his head for some attitude, but it just does not look right to the eye because it is set down so low onto the body. Let's take a look at the chest. Like I said before, everything you would want in a Martian Manhunter. You got the red X, you got the cape medallions, collar looks primo, you got a cool belt. Now I think that belt is more like, there's different versions because there's circles and triangles, but this is more like from a statue that I saw. It's this particular belt style. Got his blue trunks. All in all, pretty cool. Let's take a look at the articulation. You do have side to side at the waist. You do have the full range of motion. Now they did something pretty cool, and they separated the cross, the red X, from the trunk, so you still have a lower waist swivel. And you still do have an upper chest swivel, but this one is restricted due to the costume. But you could still turn them, get them in some cool flying poses. Now he crunches a little bit forward. but he leans back really well for some flying poses. Pretty sweet. Let's take a look at the shoulders. You do have up and down, front to back, tons of rotation there. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, pretty nice, not the best. Move down, you could see all the veins in his arms. Got some cool fist on this hand with articulation. And then on the other side, he has just like a grabbing hand. Now, at first I didn't know, I thought this hand was pretty crappy, but now that now there is actually a good use for it. I'll show you guys in just a second. Look at this forearm, look at that vein. That's pretty insane. Love that detailed sculpt work. T-pose. A little bit more than a T-pose, but then you can swivel his arms to get him above his head for some dynamic poses. Pretty cool. Go down to the thighs. Now here at the thighs, let's check out the thigh swivel. Pretty good rotation there. Pop out the leg. You do have that sweet hip rotation. Double jointed knees. Nice clean sculpt there. You got up and down at the ankle. Right to left. Rocker. And toe articulation. All in all, classic Manhunter look. Let's look at the lower body before we go. Now, the boots are not perfectly traditional Martian Manhunters. Those are more like the Buccaneer boots, they call them, where they have like that cloth. These have a little bit of like design where they go forward. But what's really nice is the sculpt work and detail and the grain that they have on the boots. I don't know if you could see that, but it looks really awesome. The sculpted ball joints on the ankle make like one complete piece. Really awesome. All in all, a cool Martian Manhunter figure. Now, first off, how to extend the peg, because I want to lift his head up, but I'm pretty much out of extra pegs. So what you do is you get the peg and you heat it up and you split it right down the middle. Then you take a little tiny drill bit and you drill a hole. You could use your Dremel or you could use a drill, and you drill a little hole on each side like so. And then you get either, a paper clip, a nail. I actually have some personalized little black pegs, and these are really, really hard plastic. They do not break, and they fit actually perfect into the drill hole that I have piloted. And this is how I extend my pegs. Now, do not glue this until you're absolutely sure that you have the height that you want. But once that's done for sure, then you can actually glue it, which I've already done on the modern version, but I haven't glued this one yet. But just for added effect, make a little notch in the neck porthole to give them a little bit more range. Now you put this all back together and you snap the head on, and now his head sits a little bit higher. It's not so sunken down into the collar that it gets lost, and this actually gives you a lot more range. Now it's really fun to articulate the head. He could look up really well. He could look down. Gives him a lot more freedom, and for posing and even his stature, just the way the figure feels to the eye, it looks really, really good. So now we've done the head. The next thing is the height. Now to fix the height, I've already shown this, but now I'm going to do it again because I've done it before on the modern version. You pop off the legs. The legs have this like ratchet system inside, and you got to put them in hot water so that it softens it up, and you could pop those plugs out. Now, if you see before how the plug sits like flush, so when you put it in, what you want to do is not put it in all the way. Just put it in where it has some height to it, and that'll actually give you, a 1/4 inch of height, and you could see that here. Now, what's cool about this is once you get it all put back together and you snap the legs back in, you cannot really tell at all. Like, the legs still move around, you still have thigh rotation, he could still kick and move his legs. But what it does do, it gives you a lot of height to where he's not so short. Now this, to the neck peg modification, it gives you a really nice and tall Manhunter figure. Really cool. Now let's go for the little custom accessories I did. Now, if you did not know, Martian Manhunter is really addicted. He has an itch that he just cannot scratch, a pretty bad addiction, and that of course is to Oreos. Now this is from the comics. He's a really big Oreo fiend, and I thought the perfect thing, and surprisingly what's cool about this hand that he comes with, the right hand, is that the little Oreo that I fashioned for him fits perfectly right in between the two fingers, and you have his little Oreo cookie in his hand. And this is like, for some great pictures, I'll probably do a picture and then put it up on Instagram so everybody could laugh. But he is a big fiend of Oreos, and now he has his little Oreo cookie accessory. Came out really nice. Now the other thing I did for him that I did not like is, I didn't like that hand because it doesn't give him no like gesturing, abilities or anything. So I actually made him an alternate hand. Now you pop off the old hand, and then you put in this new hand, which is more of a gesturing hand. Now, it took me a long time to try and match the paint, and I got it really close. But what I do know is at the very end, I finally figured out what it really was, and what it was is some satin green, but you have to add yellow. And the yellow is what makes it look like this light lime colored green. So even though it matches pretty closely, I'm gonna go back again and fix it and match it even more. But just for now, you snap this hand on and it just gives him more presence, more different choices in his posing. I mean, you could just mess around with him, and now that gesturing hand just gives him a different feeling. I really, really love this alternate hand. Now another thing that's really cool about these modifications is now he looks more like a lean, tall figure. He doesn't look so squatted down. He looks really good like this, and when you pose him and stuff, he just has that aestheticness that makes him look really pleasing to the eye. Now, I did talk about the other modern version. Now, what I wanted to do with this guy, I had already made him taller, and I had already fixed the neck peg, but what I didn't like was how close he matched with this guy as color-wise. And I did see a statue, and when I saw that statue, it just kind of gave me the idea that since this is a more modern costume, it looks more alien, and he could go for like a more alien skin tone. Like, it's still green, but it has like that metallic look. And so I repainted the whole body, the head, and actually I really liked posing him after that. It looked really, really good. So now I have a classic Martian Manhunter, but now I also have a modern, different looking Martian Manhunter if I ever want to have one for two different displays. So that worked out really, really well. Love both of these guys. They're both big boys now. They're a little bit taller. And before we go, let's check them out next to some other figures. First, just for fun, let's check them out next to my Batman Beyond. My boy McGinnis. Then let's just throw up a random Batman up there. One of my favorite little Kit Bash ones with the oval. You could really see the size of these guys. Then of course we have to have a Superman. We'll just put the Superman 1000. Go a little bit classic there. But I also want to get some of that intergalactic feel, so let's put him next to John Stewart, the Green Lantern. But all in all, guys, really happy with these now. I have my classic version. I have my modern version. You guys, keep hunting out there. Keep collecting. Keep customizing. And I will see you on the next one.